Should Tom Brady be spending his offseason because he doesn't have a clue and has Joel Embiid passed the king in the MVP race? And with that, we say good morning and we welcome ourselves back to you. It is great to be here. First thing first, John Wolf, Nick Wright, Brandon Marshall, our guy Kevin is off this morning. But Nick, what is there room on the throne for Joel Embiid?
Come on,
listen,
Nick.
It's a two-man race. I've been saying it's two-man race. I think Brandon's got the hottest take on this. That coming up later. It's great to be back.
There you go. There you go.
All right, well, we are going to stay in the NBA. Big game last night. Must-watch TV. Nets and Clippers.
Brandon's
going to say this could be a championship preview. Nick's going to say Brandon could be losing his mind. Nets without KD again last night. It didn't matter because James Harden, because Kyrie Irving, because they played a little defense. It was all too much for the Clippers. Nets win. With that, Nick, I got to ask, you starting to believe in this team at least a little bit? That's 6 straight wins for this Brooklyn team.
You know, it's a great question, and as I was watching that game last night, the game that Brandon months ago said was going to be the NBA Finals that we get, Clippers, Nets, I thought, you know, I know what the old Nick would say. The old Nick would say it's a great win by the Nets. You know, all it took was Paul George not playing the final 3 minutes, DeAndre Jordan with the most absurd tip-in you've ever seen, and then maybe the single worst offensive foul call this decade in the NBA, and you eke out a win. That's what the old Nick would say. But the new Nick, the refreshed, rejuvenated after a week off Nick, what I want to say is this. That's a great win by Brooklyn, and it's not even the most important thing that happened to them this week, or this past week, and nor is the win over the Lakers. The most important thing that happened to Brooklyn this week was Kyrie Irving taking a step back and saying James Harden's going to be the point guard of this basketball team, and that is going to allow their offense, which was already functioning at a super high level, to function at an even higher level, because James Harden is a better true point guard than Kyrie Irving. So it was a great road trip. It was a spectacular trip to Los Angeles, beating the Lakers and the Clippers. And the Nets have to be feeling great about themselves. Now, Brandon, none of this addresses their issue of defense, nor does it address their issue
here we go.
of, I believe, an inability to stop who they're going to have to stop in Embiid and Giannis. But it's a great road trip. It's a great road trip. They won all 5 games. They beat Phoenix, LA, and LA in 3 straight. It's a great road trip, Brandon.
How do you show so much love? I mean, we won 6 in a row. This is the first team in the Eastern Conference that's gone out west, won 5-6 games in a row since 2010. And you want to talk about defense right now? That's what we're going to do right now. Nick, it is over. It's time for you to get on board. Last night, Nick, was a preview of this year's NBA Finals. That's what it was. Nets versus Clippers. Nets beat the Clippers. Nets are way too much. This is a NBA 2K created team. This is unfair, this team, how they're able to score. And you're 100% right. Kyrie Irving continues to have a freakish year. He's playing phenomenal. It's an MVP type year. And James Harden is the key to this. The biggest question going into this season was, who's going to sacrifice? Is James Harden going to be willing to sacrifice and not score as much and take as many shots? That's what he's been able to do. He's been able to touch the ball more and pass the ball way more. Like, this dude isn't even taking shots like he used to do, in Houston. This dude is phenomenal. He's having a phenomenal year. He is the MVP of this team. And we didn't even have KD last night. So, Nick, it's time for you to get on board because these guys have finally figured out their role and they're stepping into their purpose this year. It's amazing. So, let's go, Nets.
And so, listen, and they did it without Kevin Durant, which obviously is maybe the most notable part of this whole thing is Durant's nursing that hamstring. Here, if this is the NBA Finals, then the Nets absolutely can win the title. I think they can beat the Clippers in a series. Here is my problem for your Nets, and it's not just about holistically about defense. It's about what you have seen in this, the best part of this 6-game winning streak, beating the Warriors and the Kings, that doesn't matter all that much. But beating the Suns, who are good, beating the Lakers, who are excellent,
they're really good,
beating the Clippers, who are close to excellent, those 3 wins are really notable. But those 3 teams, when Anthony Davis isn't playing, all lack what I believe, Brandon, is the Nets' Achilles heel, which is an interior presence. And I know how high you are on Embiid this year. And in the second round of these playoffs, forget the conference finals, in the second round, the Nets are either going to be playing Giannis and the Bucks or Embiid and the Sixers. And then if they get past both of those teams, then in the NBA Finals, I don't think they'll be playing the Los Angeles Clippers. I think they'll be playing the Los Angeles Lakers. And my question to you would be, as good as they're playing right now, are you not a little concerned about Embiid or Giannis or AD being able to have their way with them down on the inside, because they haven't had to face that during this winning streak?
Well, first off, we're going to talk about Giannis and the Bucks later on in the show, but I'm definitely not concerned about them. Have you been watching them lately? Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to talk about him later in the show. Yeah, I'm a little concerned when it comes to the Philadelphia 76ers, but at the end of the day, this is what I look for. I look for a team that has 3 potential scores, 2 at least. Because if you have 3, then you're able to beat the Nets. But if you have 2 and one have an off night, like the Lakers, then you have no chance. Lakers have no AD, so they have no chance right now. AD's having a terrible year. Even when he's healthy, it's a down year for him. The 76ers, I'm not concerned about Joel Embiid. We'll get past him because they don't have anybody outside of Joel Embiid that can give you 30 a night consistently. Ben Simmons just now getting back healthy. The shooters, yes, they're doing a phenomenal job, but they're not hitting as many threes as they did even last year, but they are efficient. So no, Nick, I'm not concerned about the Lakers. I'm not concerned about the Bucks, and I'm definitely not concerned about the 76ers.
All right, well, you said doing it with 2 out of 3. That's exactly what the Nets have been doing, KD, again, sitting out a fourth straight game last night. This big 3 in Brooklyn, guys, they've only played 7 games together so far. But, Nick, how much better do you think the team can actually get when you get Kevin Durant back?
Well, listen, Durant's one of the 3 best players in the world, and they're doing this without him. And what I will say is the big benefit, Brandon, to having a big 3 is one of them can be out and your team can still function at a super high level. That is the difference. But while I will take LeBron and AD over KD and Harden any day of the week, the Lakers' 3rd best player, is it Schroeder? Like who do you want to? Is it Harrell? I don't think it's Harrell. Who would it be? The Nets' 3rd best player is Kyrie. So when the Lakers are without one of their top 2 guys, they're in real trouble. If the Sixers or the Bucks are without one of their top 2 guys, they're in real trouble. The Nets' margin of error is greater. And that, Brandon, is the whole idea behind the big 3 is if somebody gets dinged up, you can still function. You can still compete with the best teams in basketball, as we saw last night.
Right, and that was my last point is exactly that. I mean, no KD the last 4 or 5 games, and look what you're seeing, right? You know, you got a guy in KD averaging 29, Kyrie Irving 27, and then you have a guy who's sacrificing the most, and we're not talking about him, James Harden, having an MVP year, although he's not scoring or averaging 35 like he did last year in Houston and the years before that, and James Harden. So, you know, this is a scary team, Jenna. When KD gets back, we'll be fine. These guys are finally stepping into their roles. You have James Harden saying, I am the point guard, to Nick's point. You have Kyrie Irving saying, I'm the shooting guard. I know my role. And then KD is KD. He's probably the 2nd, 3rd best player in the NBA right now.
I know. I still want to see these 3 play a couple more games, though. All right, switch gears, talk some football now. How about this guy, Carson Wentz? Can he lead the Colts to the promised land in year 1? Oh, we're asking big questions. It's next. It's First Things First, and it's great to be back.